I'll tell you who else doesn't know what a woman is. The police in the UK. In fact, probably the police everywhere. But the police in the UK have been dumb enough to actually write it down and put out a handbook to all the coppers, the plods over there, saying this is how you must now speak about everything. And they go into all sorts of nonsense about, there's no such thing as there being only two genders. Gender is a social construct. There's much more than male and female, etc. But it gets even worse. You can no longer say, if you are a bobby in the UK, you can't say black sheep, you can't say blacklisted, you can't say something's got a black mark on it because it suggests that black is bad and therefore that is racist. This is directly out of the handbook. It says don't say any expression that uses black in a negative way. For example, black sheep, blacklisted or black mark. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's no racial connotation to the use of black in that circumstance. It refers to death, etc., which comes to all of us regardless of race. So I don't really see what the issue is there. Can't call depression the black dog anymore. In fact, black dogs all have to be killed now because it is racist to even acknowledge that they exist. I mean, black cats. Remember, you can't have a black cat walk under a ladder because it's bad luck. Oh, we've got to kill all the black cats now.
Can I order a long black?
No, don't you dare do that, because that's discriminatory against the short blacks as well. You could also order one of those if you go into a cafe. The handbook goes on. While many people who are pregnant or have given birth identify as women, there are some non-binary, trans and intersex people who do not identify as women and who may be pregnant and give birth. Try to use gender-neutral language such as pregnant person or expectant parent where possible, and then it gives possibly the most common sense thing in this entire thing: never ask someone if they are pregnant. I'm not quite sure how that relates to the paragraph before it. I thought that was just common sense. If you don't want to get yourself in trouble with a woman who's put on a few kilos, don't ask her if she is pregnant. The thing goes on, it says there's a difference between non-racist and anti-racist, and that police, for some reason or another, need to acquaint themselves with the definition of those two terms. It talks about white fragility, which is apparently when white people don't want to hear that racism exists. I would have thought suggesting that that was exclusive to white people is in and of itself racist. It says don't generalise about people. For instance, it has as an example saying that older people are boring and grumpy, or that women in their 50s are menopausal. I'm not entirely sure what that has to do with policing. I didn't know the coppers were walking around sizing up 50-year-olds. Oh, she did that because she's menopausal. It also says not to refer to mature adults, because that would be to suggest that a younger person couldn't be mature. But of course, you would use mature adult where you didn't want to call someone old because you thought that might be offensive. So the long and short of it is there's nothing you can say anymore if you're a policeman in Britain, or, police person, or police they, them.
Yeah, and also the long and short of it I found personally
yeah, very good,
well,
very good. But I mean, this is utterly absurd. I mean, imagine you signed up to be a copper and you thought, OK, I'm going to stop some crimes, and then they lob this handbook in front of you telling you can't say that someone's got a black mark on them because it's racist.
Yeah, the bad news is there's a lot of knife crime in the UK. The good news, though, is hurty words are not in use anymore. I would have thought police have a lot more important things to do. But this advice, Caleb and Liz, I would have thought is racist in and of itself, because it implies that black people are stupid, in that black people can't differentiate between a racial slur and a perfectly innocuous mark such as this person has been blacklisted. It implies that black people are emotionally fragile, that they're going to get triggered at the first word that implies anything about them, and that they're easily offended.